I finally found it, the Zanetti Train. I've been chasing this story for years, following whispers and dead-end leads. But now that I'm actually here, I honestly wish I'd never come. There's a coldness to this place that just sinks right into your bones. I'm going in to try and document whatever's haunting this train. But I've got a bad feeling this is a decision I'm going to regret for the rest of my life. Before we head inside, you need to know the story that brought me here. This isn't just some random abandoned train. This is the legendary Zanetti ghost train, and its story is more like a nightmare than history. The tale begins on July 14, 1911, in Italy. A railway company, which the legend calls Zanetti, supposedly launched a new luxury train for a scenic tour. About 100 wealthy passengers and 6 crew members were on board for a leisurely trip out of Rome. The journey went off without a hitch until the train approached a brand new, kilometer-long tunnel in the Lombardy Mountains. It proudly blasted its whistle, rolled into the darkness, and was never seen again. It just vanished. Police and railway workers searched every single inch of that tunnel. They found nothing. No crash, no bodies, not even a scorch mark on the walls. The train and all 106 people on it had seemingly disappeared into thin air. The only clue came from a story about 2 passengers who claimed they jumped off just before it entered the tunnel. In their supposed testimony, they described a thick, milky white mist that suddenly enveloped the train, causing an overwhelming wave of fear and panic. They leaped to safety, suffering from shock but living to tell the tale. According to the legend, the tunnel was sealed up during World War I, and the mystery went cold. But this is where the story goes from a local tragedy to something else entirely. There's a bizarre, unverified account from a Mexican psychiatrist, Dr. Jose Saxino, from the 1840s. That's over 60 years before the train even vanished. He allegedly wrote about 104 Italians who were suddenly admitted to a mental asylum. They were all hysterically panicked and claimed to have arrived in Mexico from Rome by train. It's a wild detail, but it's what fuels the whole Zanetti theory. The train didn't crash. It entered a time warp or a dimensional rift, getting stuck between time and space. Over the decades, people started reporting sightings of the ghost train all over the world, in Russia, India, Germany, and Ukraine. Eyewitness accounts are all eerily similar. A silent, driverless, 3-car train with its curtains drawn appears from nowhere and vanishes just as fast. The legend even tells of a Ukrainian paranormal researcher named Vasily Leshkity, who in 1991 saw the train appear in Poltava, jumped aboard in front of witnesses, and was never seen again. Now, I have to be clear, this whole story is almost certainly folklore. Historians and fact-checkers have found no official records from 1911 of a railway company named Zanetti, and there wasn't a single news report about a train with over 100 people just disappearing. It's pretty much considered an urban legend that grew over time. But legends like this don't just pop out of nowhere. They start with a feeling, a fear. And standing here, in front of what I believe is that train, I can tell you, the fear is very real. Finding this place was tough. It's tucked away deep in a forgotten rail yard, miles from civilization, just left to rust. There are no signs or markers. It's a place that feels like it wants to be forgotten. Honestly, just getting close feels wrong. The air is heavy and still, and every step I take feels like I'm pushing against something. The dread is a physical knot tightening in my gut. The train is a wreck from another era. 3 cars, just like the story says. The paint is peeling off, with rust stains running down the sides like old wounds. But even with all the decay, you can tell it used to be a luxury train. You can almost picture the fancy interior and the wealthy passengers celebrating what was supposed to be a historic ride. The doors are hanging slightly open, creaking back and forth in the wind. It feels like an invitation, a dare. My hands are shaking as I get my camera ready. Every part of me is screaming to just turn around and run. But I've come too far. I have to see what's inside. Taking a deep breath, I step through the door. The change is instant. The air in here is freezing. a dead, stale cold that has nothing to do with the weather outside. It smells like dust, rot, and something else, something metallic and vaguely sweet, like old blood. And the silence, it's so absolute it feels like it's pressing in on you. This isn't just an empty train, it feels like a tomb. Okay, I'm in the first passenger car. Whatever luxury was here is long gone, buried under dust and shadows. The velvet on the seats has rotted away, leaving just the skeletal frames. The curtains are shredded and pale, hanging over the windows like shrouds. There's a weird stillness in here, almost like time just stopped. I'm moving slowly, but my footsteps are echoing way too loud in the quiet. I can feel it now, that classic feeling of being watched. It's a prickling on the back of my neck. I am not alone in here. I'm moving into the second car. This one feels heavier. The cold is way more intense. I can actually see my breath. This is where I'm going to try something. I brought a spirit box. For anyone who doesn't know, this device scans radio frequencies really fast, creating white noise that spirits can supposedly manipulate to speak. I know a lot of people are skeptical, but in a place like this, you try everything. I'm turning it on. The static screams into the silence. Pause. Is there anyone here with me? Just static, crackling. My name is your name. I came here to hear your story. What is this train? Box keeps scanning, and then a voice. It cut right through the static. One word. Leave. My blood just went cold. It was a man's voice, sharp and angry. Who was that? I ask, and I can hear my voice tremble. Another voice pushes through, but this one is weaker. A woman's whisper. The tunnel, where it all went wrong. That word is just hanging in the frozen air, filled with 100 years of fear. What happened in the tunnel? The spirit box goes nuts. A mess of voices, all panicked and talking over each other. Mist. Screaming. No escape. The energy in here is spiking. I can feel it. There's a crushing pressure building in my ears. The air is getting even colder, and a faint, white vapor is starting to form at the end of the car, coiling like smoke. It's just like the survivors described in the legend. Guys, I gotta pause for a second. My heart is absolutely pounding. This is so much more intense than I ever imagined. If you think there are spirits on this train and you want me to come back, maybe even at night, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know you're with me, because not gonna lie, I'm terrified right now. The white mist is getting thicker, rolling down the aisle right at me. It's unnaturally cold, and the air smells like ozone, like raw electricity. The spirit box is just a mess of static and what sounds like terrified screaming. I should leave. I know I should leave, but I can't. I'm just frozen here, watching this mist. And then I see them. Inside the swirling vapor, figures are starting to take shape. They're see-through, shimmering like heat off a summer road. Ghosts. I can make out men in old-fashioned suits, women in long dresses with hats. Their faces are all twisted in silent screams, their eyes wide with a kind of terror I can't even wrap my head around. They don't seem to see me. It's like they're trapped, reliving this one horrible moment over and over again. One figure is clearer than the others. A man near the front of the car. He's looking right at me. His face is skeletal, his eyes just dark, hollow pits. He raises a hand, but not like he's going to hurt me. It's like he's pleading. His mouth opens, but there's no sound. Just this overwhelming wave of pure despair and hopelessness that washes over me. It's a feeling so deep and raw that it brings tears to my eyes. This isn't just a haunting. It's a scar left on time. An echo of a tragedy that never got to end. Suddenly, the whole train groans. A loud, screeching metal sound, like the train itself is in agony. The figures flicker like a bad signal, and the pleading man's face just dissolves back into the mist. That's it. I'm done. Whatever courage I had left is gone. This place isn't a relic. It's alive with pain, and I've trespassed. I don't even remember turning around. One second, I'm staring into a ghost's eyes. The next, I'm just running. I stumbled through the cars as fast as I could, the silence now replaced by what sounded like 1,000 whispers chasing me from the walls. I burst out of the train door and just kept running, not even stopping until the rusted shell of the train was a dark shape behind me. I didn't look back. I didn't dare. The feeling of that man's despair, the image of those silent screams, that's going to be burned into my mind forever. I'm back in my car. It's been a couple of hours and I'm still shaking. I've looked at the footage, the audio. You can hear the voices from the spirit box just as clearly as I did. You can see the mist starting to form. I didn't really capture the figures. They were just too faint, like shimmers in the air, but I know what I saw. So is the Zanetti train a real time-traveling ghost train? It's almost certain that it's not. The complete lack of historical records makes it clear the story is a powerful piece of folklore. But what I experienced inside that train, that felt real. The cold, the voices, that crushing sadness, that was all real. Maybe the legend isn't about one specific train that vanished in 1911. Maybe Zanetti is just the name we've given to a place where a tragedy at some point in time was so awful it tore a hole in reality. A place where the echoes of the past are so strong they can still reach out and touch you. I went looking for the secrets of a haunted train and I definitely found them. But this is one secret I really wish I had left buried. What do you think really happened on that train? What did you hear in the Spirit Box audio? Drop your theories in the comments below. And if you've ever had an experience you couldn't explain, I want to hear it. Thanks for coming along. Stay safe out there.